going on, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Fantastically Geeky Cosplay. And so today I'm pretty excited because I get to have one of my very good friends on with me that I've been wanting to talk to forever. And so I'm very happy to introduce a very talented and very sweet friend of mine. She is very talented in cosplay and also makeup artist, and also the co-host of the Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary. So I want to welcome in my very good friend, Astravoidcosplay.
Hi! Oh
Hi.
my gosh! Hello!
How's it going?
Good, yeah, good. It's almost like we didn't just say hi 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But that intro was like awesome. Oh my gosh, that was really cool.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad that we could finally make this happen.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited, so.
Of course. All right, so like previous shows before this, we're just gonna talk some cosplay. So are you ready?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right.
Hit me with your best shot.
All right, so I think first things first, how long have you been cosplaying and what got you into it?
Right, so I always mark my dates of starting based off of when FredCon, it's the Fredericksburg toy show that goes on here. It's my hometown. I always mark when I started based on that because that was my very first show, fresh out of high school. So I would say about 3 years roughly now. And it all kind of happened on accident. I was in theater and I for the International Thespian Society that we were all in. Every year when new people were inducted, we did this thing where we would spend the whole day and we would get into costumes and people would dress up. And so for my senior year, all of our seniors were like, hey, we should do something like Marvel related and like fun. We were all like, yeah, like a group thing. And, of course, all of the easy characters got taken. And then people were like, oh, well, you should do Gamora because, you do makeup. And I was like, I guess. So I already had everything. And then after I graduated, my mom had called me in my room one day and she was like, hey, so I heard that there was this, Comic-Con going on near us. You've always wanted to go to one. Do you want to go? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to go. And I had everything. So I dressed up and I went. And then the rest is just history. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like as we're looking back on like how we started compared to like how we are now, it's really awesome. Like seeing the evolution of like our journey.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels like a lot longer, but at the same time, like it doesn't. I think also because like COVID kind of like hit it in the middle, and I really didn't have a great footing of a start, I guess, if that makes sense. Because I had started and then I just kind of got like hit in the face with that, and half of my cosplay career had been stuck indoors. And so there was a good chunk of time where I couldn't really put out content or do anything was because obviously we were in lockdown. So I kind of feel like I don't know, it's like a weird little wormhole that I'm in. I look back at some of my posts, I'm like, wow, that was, wow. Yeah.
Hello, Art. Got some people here already. So do you have like a creative process when you start a cosplay?
So it kind of varies. 9 times out of 10, what'll happen is I'll think of something, my mom will think of something, I'll see something, and I'll be watching something, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that. And it starts with research. It starts with like my phone being overloaded with a million pictures of the costume stuff, and you know, planning out what am I gonna buy, what am I gonna make, what do I need, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The actual like day of though, getting into the costume is kind of a interesting process, mainly because the night before I'll spend hours getting a bunch of behind the scenes pictures, makeup references, specific angles that are shot like offset that make a complete difference in what the makeup actually looks like in real life versus on camera.
Hmm.
And then if it exists and if I can find it, I try to find clips of the actual makeup artist who did the makeup for that character, talking about it if that's the case, or just in general, like anything that I can get my hands on. I try to like dig down in there and keep it in a little file. And the morning of, I get up and I have everything spread out all over my bathroom, and it's a lot of hours of just like doing lines and blending, and that's not right, and it can be a bit of a nightmare.
Hmm. I'm sure adding makeup into the mix is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, you know, makeup and like hair and wigs and stuff like that, that was always the easy part for me. That was always the part that like that was my language. Like I understood that. That was never a problem. When I got into like foam smithing and making giant wings and you know all of that stuff, like that was the stuff that really took me out of it for a while. And like it, there are for like every shoot or cosplay that you see, there are at least like hours and hours and hours of behind the scenes of me like crying in my craft room over like a sheet of foam. So I feel like for me it's almost therapeutic to get to the day where I get to stand in front of my mirror and like do this for like 3 hours, because like that's my happy place. This is the thing that I
Hmm.
understand, you know. So it's, I don't know. I guess it's backwards because I know a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, they started with like making things, and then they were like, I don't know how to do makeup. So it was a weird like flip for me, I guess.
Yeah. It's really cool. Like hearing how everyone like has their own way of putting like cosplays together. Because I know for
Yeah.
me, like I mean, of course, I do research on the character, get to know them better, and then I just kind of like I just draw things out and like literally I draw it on a piece of paper how I want it to look, like my vision, and I just look for whatever I can find and put it together. That's so
Yeah, no, that's great. I wish I could draw the way that some people do. I just half the time I just have to wing it because I get to the point where like if I overthink it, it will just become a nightmare. So I have to like just kind of like jump head first and just hope for the best.
yeah. JM Cosplay says that is very accurate. And
I
hello.
love JM. Yeah, I love JM. He's sweet.
Artistic. So, what is your favorite convention?
That's a tough one because I have been to so many. I've been to so many, but I also feel like I haven't been to enough. This is the first year I'm getting to travel to New York and do New York Comic Con, so I can't
Hmm.
technically say that yet. Um, the first big one that I had before COVID was GalaxyCon Richmond, and that one was really fun. And then, you know, convention life after COVID obviously was very weird, and it was different. And
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really get to experience enough of it beforehand to kind of have a good comparison. But
Hmm.
what I will say is, I think the con that I had like the most fun at, um, it's probably Tidewater. It was way bigger than I thought, and I kind of just like was on a whim and was like, oh, I'll go, and then it was like massive, and I was super
Hmm.
overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and the people there were nice, and it was a really fun weekend. But I think I'm a little biased because, like I said, I have a soft spot for my first con, which was FredCon and the small hometown show that I've gotten to, over the years, gratefully watch just kind of like just grow and grow and grow and explode into this thing now. I got to guest at it this year. I was the head guest and judge, which was like super cool and like really scary. And so it was cool to be able to see that. I'm a little biased, so I think from like a biased standpoint, it has to be my first one. But then from like this was the most fun ever standpoint, I'm gonna have to go with Tidewater. Again, these are all shows in like Virginia, where I'm from. I haven't really gotten like go out of state yet that much. So I've been to Baltimore Comic-Con in Maryland, and like I said, I'm going to New York for the first time, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah.
Yeah, I hope to be at New York too, so this year. So, Lord willing.
Right.
But speaking of Baltimore, I was going through like some old photos, and I found this beauty here.
Oh. Oh my gosh, yeah, wow. Oh, wow.
So I just find it really funny how, like, before I don't think I was following you at the time when I first went to that con that year. And then I realized who you were and found you on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that was Jean. I'm like, okay.
No, yeah, that was when that was back when I first started too, still. I was still like a little baby. I think that was the one that my dad took Professor X to, and we were Jean and Professor. And then that was also the first time that I did Black Canary. I call it like my first baby make, because I didn't really make it, but like I painted the suit and I did the things, and like it was my first time doing anything. I always labeled Jayla as like my first build, because I really top to bottom made everything. But yeah, that was the first time I ever was like, I'm gonna try to like do something. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was so long ago. Oh my gosh. My baby Jean Grey. Oh my god.
You and your dad looked amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I really hope that him and I get to do some more stuff soon. We were, I don't want to spoil anything, but we were kind of trying to make some plans for next year for like a build for us to do together. We try to do something, awesome. I think almost each year. So we're trying to do something together again. But
I'm sure that's like something that you love doing, like with your parents. I know you mentioned that your mom takes pictures for you, and your dad cosplays as well.
Yeah. Well, they raising me, they got me into all of the nerdy stuff anyway. So it was kind of fitting how, my first Comic-Con was with them, and ever since I go with them. And it's always mixed. You have people who are like, oh my god, that's so cool, they're so supportive. And then you have people who are kind of like, that's weird, you're like 21, don't you want to go without your parents? And like, on one hand, it's like, yeah, of course, like, I have friends that I would love to be able to go to and hang out with. But at the same time, I started it with my family. And I think I'm always going to want to have them. And it's also a safety thing. I never go alone. And unfortunately, a lot of my cosplay friends are out of state or they're busy. So, and they know too, like my parents know, like if I ever go and run into my friends, they always like kind of just wander away for a bit, hang out with my friends. But no, it's something like they've even tried. They're like, you should like go by yourself. And I'm like, no, go with me. I'm always dragging them with me. But yeah, my dad and I, it was our first thing we made together. Was the Professor X. We together made Cerebro on a scooter, on like a moving console. And it was a whole big thing. And that was really popular at the time, especially with Dark Phoenix and Jean Grey and all of that. Which Jean was actually my second, I think, technically only my second cosplay, because I did Gamora, and then everyone was like, oh, you look like Sophie Turner. And so I got the Jean Grey suit, and I did that. And then I got Sansa. Kind of snowballed from there. But yeah, we did that together. And then I built Carnage, and he did Doc Ock. And that was super fun. And I've been trying to like we've been trying to figure out other things to do. We actually have one coming up that we're doing together. This is my first horror con I've ever gotten to go to. I'm going to one around the same time as Fairfax this year. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm nervous. I've never been to a horror con, but I'm really excited. So yeah, I don't know if I want to spoil that one yet, what I'm doing or not. I don't know if I should, but we'll see. I'll think about it. I'll let you know later.
I just think it's really awesome, like artistic side, to have parents who support your hobbies like that, and like the fact that they like get involved in that with you. So I think that's cool.
I mean, truth be told, though, like if they didn't, I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be doing this. They have helped me in so many ways that people don't even know, and I'm really grateful for. Like, they let me turn the whole spare bedroom into a craft room, and like the downstairs has now become a workroom. It's kind of taken over. But they're also just, I mean, my mom helps sew things, and she's always finding stuff for me for my cosplays, and I'm really grateful, because if it wasn't for her, and you brought up the photography thing too, like, you know, I had a friend before who used to do my pictures, but long story short, she kind of like sabotaged me and bailed on me when I needed pictures for a magazine done. And my mom and dad went out my dad went out that morning, got a camera, came back. My mom learned how to use it, and we took pictures. And ever since then, it's just kind of been a thing. So yeah, like I said, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So
it's awesome. So I'm sure you have yeah. I'm sure you have some for this.
That depends on how spicy. It depends on how spicy you want this to get. how canceled on Twitter do you want to be? You should have known by having me as a guest. I'm controversial in the community, so you should have expected that one. Oh,
whatever you want to say.
God, there's a lot I could say. There's so many aspects of cosplay, and there's so many things that I feel can be subjective. And a lot of times people get very like violent about their opinions. So, you know, for me, something that's become a major pet peeve, which I've talked about before on my stories, excuse me, is I'm trying to word this carefully. It's the concept of, like, you know, the fast fashion of cosplay and what it's done to the community, because during COVID you had TikTok blow up, and because of TikTok blowing up and that fast, immediate, needing content out right now kind of mindset, people got lazy, and they would like stop wearing wigs, they would stop doing body paint or makeup or whatever, and it would just become, this is me putting on a skin tight suit and calling it a day. And like, that's great, but also, you know, like, when we came out of COVID, on the other side of it, it went from that to, I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna take a picture, and then I'm gonna edit my whole body green, I'm gonna edit the entire background, I'm gonna edit my hair and what I'm wearing. And it went from like actually putting an effort to the art form to it becoming fully digital art. And there's nothing wrong with digital art. Digital art is great, but they are two separate things. You know, there's a line there, and I feel like people forget the definitions. And that's all I said. I didn't bash anyone, I didn't say anything, but it, you know, that kind of thing gets twisted, of course. So it's, you know, if you say anything in this community that's not, you know, that sort of California mindset of like, oh, peace and love, and like, you're suddenly a gatekeeper and you're a villain and you're a bad person. I'm not. I think it's frustrating when somebody can spend, you know, months long working on something and then get no recognition for it, but a girl can stand like this with her titties out and like complete Photoshop herself, and then that blows up. You know, it's like, well, you know, it's really frustrating. I've seen a lot of my friends, not even myself, but a lot of my friends get really discouraged because of stuff like that, and so it's really frustrating. That's one of them,
really is
for sure. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves of like a problem in the community.
I
For
1000%
sure.
agree.
That's probably the biggest one. I could go on other tangents about photographers and about mean girls and about everything under the sun, because I have on the podcast that I co-host. I'm plugging myself for a second. No, I've talked about it before, but it just, there's a lot that's wrong with the community, I feel like, or a lot that could be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm somebody that I like to think is trying to sort of be that staple person to say, like, hey, it's okay to go against, you know, the flow of things. It's okay to not have an OnlyFans. Like, it's okay that you don't want to do that. It's okay if you want to, but don't feel like you have to either. You know, I feel like there's not a lot of people in the community that have the balls to be like, actually, I don't agree with that. I have definitely made a lot of waves in this community in my short amount of time of being here. I have pissed off a lot of people, proudly so. But yeah. I think out of everything I've seen, out of everything I've had to fight to the death over for people for some reason, that one is one of the biggest ones. And there's also, like, for some reason, the cosplay community specifically, there's like this need for drama. Like, if things are quiet for a while, which is like normal and healthy and okay, someone has to start something somewhere. And it's just, it's insane. It gets exhausting, dude.
Yeah.
I've been involved in dramas that I haven't even spoken on. Like I said, like the stories that I put up before, I had a girl screenshot them, go to Twitter, which was this before I had a Twitter, by the way. This is where the joke came from. I had a girl run to Twitter, post those screenshots with her pictures underneath of them, and then try to make it sound like I was talking about her. This is a girl with like 500,000 followers on Instagram, by the way. This is a girl with numbers that are like insane that should have no reason to even give a damn about me, but for some reason she did. And I was like, girl, I wasn't even talking about you. I didn't even follow you. Like, chill out. But she was trying to cancel me on Twitter. And then she got up all over my DMs and was like harassing me in my DMs. And when I finally told her, like, you know, F off, she didn't like it. And then, like, oh, that started everything. And I was like, I should have just. So then I made a Twitter, of course, because I had to make the joke official of being canceled on Twitter. So that's where the joke came from. So yeah, that's, you know, you gotta laugh at these things, man.
Yeah.
You just gotta laugh. Like, people are nuts. People are nuts.
I know, it's crazy how, like, offended people get nowadays. Like this hobby should be like fun.
Yeah.
And it's turned into something else, and it's sad. It really is.
It's nuts. It's so nuts, dude. It's annoying. Yeah. For sure.
Hi, Freaky Louie.
Hello. So yeah, like I said, I could go off on that question for a while, but I know we have other questions, so I'll let you keep going. If you don't stop me, I will not shut up about this. This is the one topic I get so heated. I wish I could like screenshot this. Can I take a picture of that? Hold on.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I want that like printed on a t-shirt. I do. Only I'm cool enough to get canceled on Twitter without Twitter. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it, right? Like you get canceled without like having the platform. I'm like I'm becoming like the Jeffree Star of cosplay, apparently. Every new week there's some new headline. It's nuts.
Seems that way.
Good Lord.
Okay. Where do you normally look for cosplay materials?
All over, anywhere I can. You know, it also depends on like what I'm. Sorry, I'm laughing at like the jarring contrast of me spilling tea and me going, so actually what you want to do is.
You're good.
Oh my goodness.
You're fine.
I'm a goof. Anyway, so it depends on, you know, what I'm doing, what I'm looking for. So I've thrifted stuff before. I've gone to Goodwill, all that kind of stuff. That's super useful.
Yeah.
Amazon's a lifesaver. Joanne Fabrics, if you're trying to actually build stuff from scratch, all the foam stuff. There are resources online to get stuff like Warbler and like big rolls of foam. Excuse me, sorry, I keep burping for some reason. And I know, you know, there are places like Mercari and Poshmark that will like resell costumes or pieces of costumes. And there were times where, you know, I just did some shoots down in Virginia Beach on the beach location, except I don't really get to go that often. And I had like a Mara suit that was from there, from like Poshmark, I believe, just because it was quick and it was cheaper than like getting it somewhere else. So it just depends on like if I'm just buying something for shoot purposes and I make the props to go with it, or if I am building off of it, if I'm building from scratch. Anywhere and everywhere that I can get my hands on stuff. I mean, like, dude, it's so bad that like what was it the other day? I will be in the middle of like, just any store, and I'll see something, and I'm like, I bet I could use that and make a sword out of it. Like, I'll be like, for no reason. Like, I could literally be anywhere. I'm trying to think of like a funny, good example, but it's true. Like, I could just be anywhere. I could be in like my grandma's house and I'll like look over and I'll be like, oh, I could like totally make something from WandaVision out of this. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like I gotta stop. Like it's becoming a problem.
I'm actually the same way too, because like
Yeah.
one time I walked into Walmart and I like
Yes.
I just happened to look over and just see something that I used for my shotgun axe prop with one of my Quake cosplays. I'm like, huh, okay, I can use that.
Yeah, dude, it's a problem. It's so dangerous.
Yeah, even when I'm not looking like for something, I end up finding something. It's
when I'm not looking is when I find everything. It's the worst. The worst.
All right, so we have a question from the chat here, which I think is a good one.
Okay. Me feel catches the eye more than anything else when it comes to cosplay appearance, makeup, special editions. You know, I feel like it depends. If you're talking about like from an Instagram standpoint, I feel like we all know the answer to this question. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things of like, if it's, you know, it's just what it is. Like, if you're pretty and if you show off your body, then like you're gonna get the most likes, right?
Yeah.
Instagram rules, right? But if you're in person at a con, right? No, people 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter what you like look like appearance wise. If you have like a really cool cosplay or like a really cool build, people are going to gravitate towards it, which is what I love so much. I wish that was how it was. You know, big props, things that light up, things that spin or move are always like the eye catchers in person. But I will say, like, when I first started and I started going to cons, I didn't really understand this at the time, but I would have people all the time who would come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, are you Astra? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, oh, you actually look like that. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, yeah. And they'll be like, oh, so you like actually do your makeup like that and you look like her. And I'm like, that's the point. Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
I didn't understand that until later when I realized, like I said before, like everyone photoshops everything and everything's fake and it's all, you know. So I think that there's a beauty and an art to it, but I do think that it all depends on like what perspective you're talking about, you know. Like if it's a social media standpoint, it's always going to be appearance. It doesn't matter how much effort you put into what you do. If you're pretty, then like people love it, right? But like I said, from the flip side, in person at cons where it matters, where you have their people around you, like 9 times out of 10, I've always seen the actual builds get more attention. So, which I'm grateful for. I think that's how it should be. I think that people who put in the effort should get the attention.
Yes, I 100% agree. So I see there's another question in chat, which actually relates to a question I have for you. So
yeah.
Any advice for new cosplayers?
I get asked this all the time, and I never feel like I have a good enough answer. I've kind of been like jokingly from people that I've known for a long time. I've been labeled as like the big sister in the community because I'm very like protective of everyone. But it's true. Like if people are ever like in a situation where they're at a con and anything happens and you know that I'm there, I always say this, but like come find me, like come hang out with me or whatever. My biggest advice for the new cosplayers, that I'm kind of leading into it, I wish that, I mean, I did someone say this to me, I didn't listen because it's me, but I wish that I had someone like actually really like fight me on this at the time. You know, how do I want to word this? Don't let people with big followings and numbers make you feel like you aren't good enough. Don't let those types of people trap you into this pitfall of, well, if I don't show off my ass, like I'm not gonna get this, or if I don't act a certain way, or if I don't like do everything this person says, then you know I'm not gonna get opportunities and I'm gonna be canceled and whatever. Because I had that problem for a while. I got stuck in this group of people, and they were terrible. They were awful, and like I let myself basically become a slave to them for a while, and like I would do stuff for them and I would try to be helpful, and I just wanted to be their friend, and like it just became a nightmare situation of, you know, people who are really jealous of you wanting to take advantage of you. And like my biggest piece of advice is do what you love because you love to do it. It doesn't matter if it's a dead fandom. It doesn't matter if no one knows what it is. Like if you know what it is and if you love it, then you should do it. And it doesn't matter how many likes you get or the people who follow you or the numbers or whatever. Because at the end of the day, if you're a bad person, there are like no numbers on earth that can save you from people seeing through that. So be yourself and be authentic and try to make friends, but don't try to please everyone. This community can be very, very toxic and it can be very scary. So find your people who are like your safe people, right?
Yes.
Find your people. Stick with your people. Yeah.
And just don't be afraid to just do your own thing.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to speak out either. Like, you know, there was, like I said, this girl, same girl that tried to cast me on Twitter, that just kind of like, it was such a like Regina George moment, you know? She was just like this person that nobody would touch. Everybody was like so afraid to speak out against her. And finally I was like, no, dude, like you're an ass. Like, why are you doing this to people? Like, of course it backfired, but you know, I believe that you should be able to say what you believe and say what you want and, you know, look out for each other, right? Like we're all nerds. We should all know this by now. Like, be nice, look out for each other, be there for each other, and yeah, that's my biggest stuff. So
yeah, that's a lot of great advice. So preach, girl.
I hope so. Yeah, it's less so much about like how to cosplay and more about like the community itself when you get into it. I feel like because there's no like right or wrong way to cosplay. Like you can do it however you want, but I wish that I had been told better how to navigate the people of it when I started.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm somebody that's just kind of like a little ball of sunshine that's like, I want to be my friends with everybody because this is like really cool. Hi. And then it quickly got dark. So yeah.
Yeah, like the community was one of the things I was most worried about when I first started because I'm naturally an introvert and I have been my whole life. And like really putting myself out there like that, it really made me nervous. But when I met some of the awesome people in the community, like yourself, it made things a lot better. So
yeah, well, I'm glad. See, that's why I do what I do. Like that's that's why for the people like you said, like, who are shy or who might not like feel comfortable speaking up for themselves or talking about things, like, please come to me. I will do it for you. I have no problem. Like, it's like that John Mulaney meme. It's like, you want me to kill that guy for you? He sounds like he sucks, and I will absolutely kill that guy for you.
Oh man. Where was I? I need to find where I was.
You're okay.
So, like, out of all the cosplays that you have, and this might be a hard question, but what character do you find you associate the most with?
Oh God. I knew this question was coming. I don't know why I wasn't like thinking. I was, but that's so hard.
It can be more than one character if that would make
because I
things
guess I
easier.
feel like each character that I cosplay, I associate with something with them on some level, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a little therapeutic because there are a lot of times like I'll cosplay from something that has a lot of hidden meaning at the time that people don't necessarily know, because you know there's drama behind certain doors, or there's certain little jabs that I like to include just for fun. It's like little Easter eggs for the people who know, but it's, you know, there's certain hidden meaning behind certain characters that I cosplay, and a lot of times it pertains to like what's going on in my life. You know, Starlight is definitely one of them. Starlight's one of those characters that I don't want to get too far into it because it's a little, you know. But all I'll say is if you've watched The Boys and you know her backstory, you'll probably get it. Jean Grey at the time was like a big one for me. That was for sure a comfort character close to my chest at the time. I'm trying to think. I know that there's more. I know that there's others. But yeah, like I said, like each character at the time that I do them, in some way, usually has some type of deeper meaning. I feel like I'm talking in circles because I'm trying to stall while I think of good answers.
You're fine.
I'm not as cool as I make myself out to be, if you haven't noticed already. Like scrolling through my Instagram really quick, like what have I done? The biggest one, oh my gosh, the biggest one recently was Max from Stranger Things. That was like a really big one. I don't talk about it really ever, actually at all. But I, especially growing up in middle school and stuff, I struggled a lot with like suicidal thoughts and depression, anxiety. I still struggle with anxiety and all that today. And, you know, so for me to like watch that season and see stuff like that, it just kind of hit me at a time in like a weird place. And so yeah, it was partially like, oh, I look like Sadie Sink, ha ha ha, this is fun. But at the same time, like, no, when I watched that season and I watched those episodes with her, I was just like, wow, like, you know, that one really hit a little too close to home, you know. So that was like the biggest one recently. And of course, Jennifer Check from Jennifer's Body. She's not. I wouldn't say I associate. I feel like it's bad if I say that I associate with her, because you know you see the movie, it's just murdering men, which is great. It's a great vibe, but it's a comfort film for me. It's a funny one. It's a good one, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm answering it with like a million other questions, but God, that's so hard. Which one do I associate with the most? I think if I had to pick only one, it would be Starlight. But like I said, the most recently, just her. I feel like I'm not giving you an answer to this one. All of her, everything she stands for. Her struggle with being sexually assaulted, and then, you know, speaking out against it, and then turning around, being forced to work with the same man, not being listened to, her being underestimated because she's a woman,
Yeah.
Every single little arc in her storyline, I have just, like, you should see me when I watched this episode for the first time. I was crying because I was just like, wow, like, yeah, I feel that. You know, it's especially the ending recently when she quit. There's been a lot of times in this community where I just kind of wanted to quit. I just wanted to leave. So yeah, I won't talk too much more about that and ramble about it more. I do, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was a mess of an answer. I'm so sorry.
You're okay. And I feel like the characters that we resonate with the most are the ones that we put the most effort into.
Yeah.
Like when making the cosplay, I feel like.
That too. I think I have like a deep like trauma bond with Maleficent over the hours that I spent on her wings and the just have like a very protective stance. So yeah, I feel that one.
And that's actually one of my favorite cosplays of yours, by the way. Maleficent.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing.
Thank you. That was the one that I didn't. It's kind of funny, a little sad. I didn't even really want to cosplay Maleficent. It was honestly something that I had. I put up when I think I hit like 5,000, 10,000. It was some milestone. It was some big milestone I hit, and I put it up on my story because I was like, "Hey, like I always do what I want to do, but what do you guys want to see?" And I did like this big poll thing, and over multiple stories, I narrowed it all down. And it came out to Maleficent, and I was like, I was like, how am I gonna do this? And I ended up over time, because it pushed me so hard, I ended up over time slowly kind of falling in love with it. So there it is.
Yeah. I see a lot of questions in the chat right now.
Oh goodness, I'm so sorry. We're like deviating from your plan. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I can like speed run them. I can speed run them.
Okay.
30 seconds per question.
Let's see. Kind of already answered that.
Okay. Maybe just might not quit my perspective. So should cosplay be just fit appropriate? No, absolutely not. No, I don't know who told you that you felt like you had to be like that. I'm sorry. That's terrible.
Yeah. Sorry
No,
to hear
dude.
that.
No, dude. No. Like, it doesn't matter what you. I've always said this, but you can't cosplay body type and you can't cosplay skin tone, right? Those are the two biggest things. You can always change your hair. You can always like change certain aspects of like the suit, but you can never. You shouldn't. Well, you should never like do those or change those base aspects of yourself. It's also a big reason why I never cover my tattoos. Unless of course it's like Starfire where like body paint, you know, you kind of inevitably cover it. But I don't ever cover my own tattoos because those are like part of who I am. I never take out my nose ring because that's just part of my body. So in the same way that those things are a part of me, that's a part of you, and you absolutely should not feel ashamed. I'm sorry if anyone ever made you feel that way. No, wear what you want. Wear whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If it makes you happy, then that's what matters. And I mean, I'm sure you would more than agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you really don't have to look like the character to cosplay.
No, you don't. I mean, like I said, like I know that my thing is like, oh, I always try to turn myself into as close of that person's face as I can. And like that's just me. That's my thing. I think that's fun. But that doesn't mean that you should like put this pressure on yourself that's super unhealthy to fit the standards of like physically what that looks like. I know that I mean, again, this is coming from somebody who suffered with an eating disorder for many, many years. So please don't. Like, it's not worth it. You know, don't do that.
Cosplay who you want.
Yes. Yes.
This is a fun one.
Oh God. I said 30 seconds per question, and then this came up. If you could have any 3 actors or characters from TV, movies, etc., be part of a cosplay team with you, who would you choose?
Gosh.
Okay, wait, like a cosplay team? Like we're like coming together to like. I don't know if any actors would want to do that. I don't know if they. I feel like they think we're weird. I don't. Oh my god, I don't know. I wish I had a different question to answer this with because I love these types of questions, but I don't know. Any 3 actors or characters from TV? Well, Gabby, do you have any thoughts?
Not really, to be honest.
Like a cosplay team. I don't know. I feel like the the actors or characters that I can think of are not. My brain is stuck on Stranger Things, and that's all I'm gonna say. I can't think of anybody else other than the Stranger Things cast right now. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. I'm like trying to rack my brain for like thoughts.
No, you're fine. And like I feel like all the characters that I would choose would
not fit together
with it.
Yeah. Every character or actor that I could think of would probably not do. Well, I don't know. I feel like the Stranger Things cast is so nice, so like maybe, but I feel like everything that I'm thinking of is just like not working, or it would be like one from here, one from there, and they would just not mesh at all. I don't know how you put Vecna in a cosplay. I don't think he'd like you putting makeup on him. You might like snap, crackle, and pop. So like, good luck.
This is a nice one.
Favorite memory. Okay, I have a few. I have a funny one. When I was in Maleficent, I had a family of like a big family, a bunch of little kids, and the dad came up to me and like shoved his baby in my arms, and I was like, "Hold my child!" And I was just like, "Oh!" And I don't like children anyway. I don't not like children. I don't want children. I don't really know how to hold a child, and so like, it was fitting for Maleficent. I'm great with kids, but like I was just so awkward, and I was just like, "Oh God." It turned out to be the funniest pictures of her taken at a con. That's a funny one. But I think one of my favorite ones, like a heartfelt one, when I was in Gamora the first time, I think it was the first time, I had a little kid, a lot of little kids run up to me, like hug me and stuff. But I had one little kid in particular that ran up to me and was like high-fiving me and like hugging me. And he got like green paint on his finger. My paint had transferred. And I kind of panicked because, like, you know, kids are like, they'll tear you apart, man. They're vicious. And they're like, you're not really Gamora, you're a liar, you know? Like, so, you know, but this little kid, he looked at it and he was just like so excited that he had green on his finger. He was like magic to him. And then the family left, and then they came back a little bit later, and because his paint had rubbed off and he wanted more of my paint. And so I had like high-fived him again, and the paint transferred. And when he went home, apparently his parents had actually posted this in a Facebook thing later on about the con. But they were like, "Oh, our son like would not stop talking the whole ride home about Gamora and about how he had paint on his hand, and he didn't want to wash the paint off when they got home." And it was just like such a like cute little moment. I don't know why. It's just the one thing I always think of, that I'm just like, "Ah," like that little kid. And apparently like that little kid still talks about it to this day. And like I've had a lot of parents message me talking about like their kids' experiences and how I was one of the nicest characters they've met, or how I'll actually, because nine times out of 10 I'll try to like get down on my knees like at their level to talk to them, because I know they can be scared sometimes. And I always take time to like talk to the kids and like actually like interact with the kids, and a lot of cosplayers don't do that. So yeah, so stuff with the kids is always like top tier memories because they're just so sweet and wholesome.
Yeah, it's really cute. Like one time, I believe it was the con that we kind of were in the same place, Baltimore Comic Con, and I was Captain Spider, and there was this dad and son. They were both dressed as Thor. The dad was Fat Thor from Endgame, and the son was regular Thor, and it was really cute. And so they saw me, and like the dad's like, "Oh, that's super cool," and I was like, I said to the kid, I was like, do you want a picture? And the kid was like, kind of shy. I was like, it's okay. I'm not gonna bite.
Aww.
It's just really cute, like interacting with people like that.
Yeah, for sure.
This kind of relates to one of my questions, but
it does. What's the best part of cosplay for you? I guess, like, for me, one of the best parts is getting to, like, live out, like, my childhood dreams. If that sounds so cheesy, but it's true. Like, if little 5-year-old me could see me dressed up as, like, Black Widow, I think that I would have a heart attack. Like, it was such a confidence thing for me too, of like, being able to look at that and be like, wow, you know, like, middle school me would never have been able to do this, and I kind of like proved myself wrong.
Yeah.
So on one end it's that, but also like just from like a raging creative standpoint, I love being able to push myself past what I thought was possible every single time. So I think those are the best parts for me, is being able to live out my dreams, but also like keep pushing myself to do better every time, or try to anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the same with me. Like if you'd asked me in like middle school that I would be doing this, I would be like, "You're crazy."
Yeah, I'd be like, you are nuts.
And again, it's like the whole like confidence thing. Like that feeling that you get when you put on a cosplay is just really awesome feeling.
Yeah. It's the best feeling.
Okay. Just looking through comments here.
Easy question. Under 30 seconds. Marvel. Yeah. Easily Marvel. I'm mostly Marvel. I have like only, I think, a handful. I think I've done Injustice 2 Black Canary. I just did Mara. I'm trying to think of who else I've done from DC. I don't know. I don't really do DC. I just haven't. Yeah.
Starfire.
Oh, Starfire. How did I forget about Starfire? Oh my god. Oh my god. Literally one of my favorite girls ever. How did I forget about Starfire? I've done too many things at this point. Oh my gosh.
Same.
Yeah, for sure Marvel.
Same for me. I only have like one DC cosplay. I want to do another very soon. So hopefully that'll be like within the next few months. How has cosplay impacted you in your life?
Well, in a lot of weird ways. On one hand, like, I'm really grateful because I get all of these insane opportunities now, and like, I got the opportunity to go to an early screening of Shang-Chi and of the Eternals at the time, which was like nuts. And being invited by Marvel for that, and then, the sponsorship with Hot Topic, and getting just the opportunity to be able to like guest at cons and be invited to travel to places to do things, and like that's nuts to me. So like on one hand, it's something that I'm really grateful for. On the other hand, like on the negative side of it, you'll have like people from high school that'll like slide into your DMs and they're like, hey, and you're like, it's just kind of funny because it's like, dude, you wanted nothing to do with me before. Like, it's just so weird now. Yeah, it's a weird balance. Take it as it goes, yin and yang. I have a hair somewhere in my eye. But yeah, it's a weird balance. It never stops. But I wouldn't change it for anything at all. It's definitely a good impact. And also, if I didn't do this, I literally would not have met nor have any of my best friends that I do now. Like Sam, Michelle, Spree, all of them. I would not have the friends that I have if it wasn't for the fact that like I just accidentally did this one day and then it stuck. So yeah.
Same with me. Like I never expected to make so many friends in this community just by doing like cosplay. It's insane.
Yeah. It's nuts.
But I'm super grateful though, because like I've always had a hard time making friends, being an introvert. So like getting to meet all these cool people from all over and share like a love for all these characters and everything. It's super cool.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. 100% agree.
Yeah, this would be a good one.
All of the above. Number one, always never go alone. You know, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this type of energy. But no, it's true. Like, I don't ever go alone. You should always have a partner, a handler, a friend, someone go with you for safety reasons alone. But that's number one. Yeah. Number two, I wouldn't necessarily say like necessities of like taking with you, but when you're there, make sure that you take breaks, eat, drink water. That's number one. Don't ever forget that. And do not be afraid when someone comes up to you for a picture and say, I haven't eaten all day, I need 5 minutes. Like, you're not a diva for that. I might be because of the way I say it, but you're not a diva for that. You're allowed to be like, hey, no. That's number two. Number three, I always pack like a fail-safe kit. What I mean by that is this. Maleficent's a perfect example. When I'm packing Maleficent, I know I'm taking her to a con. I will pack a bag or like a box of everything that I know that I need that I could use to fix it if something goes wrong. So like, and if I'm staying in a hotel room, of course, so I'll bring my heat gun to the hotel room. I'll bring like absolute bare necessities of like, oh shit, it fell apart type of thing. Like the hot glue gun to always bring with me. When I go actually to the convention, I always have my makeup bag with me of like emergency stuff to touch up when I'm there. Lipsticks, of course, because you eat, it's gonna come off. When you're talking during the day, it's gonna come off. Extra pieces of foam in case I need to patch something. Velcro. Always bring Velcro with you. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been like somewhere and someone's like, oh my god, it broke. And I'm like, do you need Velcro? I got you. I can fix it. Anything. A needle and thread with like the colors of thread that you're wearing. Anything that absolute emergency could go wrong that you need is usually what I'll bring with me.
Yeah, that's always great to have, like all of that. The favorite photo shoot.
Favorite photo shoot. Wow, done so many. I really have. I keep going back to this one. I'm not really sure why. I think my favorite one would have to be the first one I did for Jennifer's body with the pink heart jacket look that I did. And the reason for that is because I had wanted to do it. It was planned, but it wasn't like planned. Like I asked my mom that day, I was like, hey, are you free? Like, or I'm bored. And she was like, yeah, like, let me come back from my thing and we'll go. And I got ready on a whim. I didn't even know if it was going to work, to be honest with you, because I had never, ever done the makeup before. And also don't know if you know this, but I look nothing like Megan Fox. So I was like, this might not go well. But I kind of was like, I'm just gonna wing it. And I did, and I had so much fun doing the makeup for that. And then it was just my mom and I, we went back to my old middle school, and the field was open and no one was there, and we just took pictures, and at sunset area time, and I had the blood, and it was one of those types of shoots that was just like us kind of just screwing around, and it was just a lot of fun, and it ended up just kind of working out. I also had a lot of fun shooting Joanna from the Hunger Games. That was another one of those that was kind of like, this might not work, but I'm gonna have fun doing it. And those types of shoots tend to be the ones that like are really my favorite memories to have. So those ones for sure.
And I think it was worth it with the Joanna photo shoot because the actress shared your picture. I saw.
Yeah, Jenna Malone, man. I was literally like at my grandparents' house with my granddad when it happened, and my mom's talking, and I didn't interrupt her, so I'm like sitting there with my phone, and I'm like, I need to tell you what happened. Like, I was like, this just happened to me, and I'm gonna have like a panic attack. It was nuts. I was like, ooh, she did the most too. She didn't just like it or like comment. She liked it, she commented it, and she shared it to her stories. I was like, we are queen. Yes. Wow. That right there is a prime example of like, if it's a dead fandom, who cares? Like, do it anyway. I know I'm gonna be doing Canary soon from Shadowhunters. But yeah, I was just like blown away. I was like, out of all the things that I've done, this one, really? I was like, okay.
That was cool.
Best feeling.
So
classic. Okay, cool. Oh, I never got asked for this. So that was during COVID, I believe, and my college obviously was online, but they were having this like little Zoom Halloween contest thing, and I was broke and I wanted to win money, and so I was like, I can beat my college peers, which I did, but I didn't win money, and I was like, what's the point of this? No, but it was growing up, I learned how to do a lot of my makeup from watching YouTubers. So Glam and Gore and stuff like that was like a big way of me learning prosthetics and SFX makeup. And so she had done a series, kind of like a Disney princess what if situation of like, what if Belle had burned alive? Like, what with the candles? Like, what if like this? And she did like SFX based on it. Well, she had done a series with Cinderella where she was like, what if Cinderella fell on the stairs and her glass slipper went into her eye? And I remembered watching that video and seeing the SFX for it, and I was like, I want to do this so bad. I'd never made a prosthetic before, and I watched the process and I did it. It was, you take like a plastic tray, you take Vaseline, you layer it with Vaseline, you take hot glue and you make the base first, let it dry, use the Vaseline, that way you can actually peel it off afterwards. But you use the hot glue as a base, and then after that you build off of that with the liquid latex and the cotton, like cotton balls. You pull it apart and you make the little thing. The eye that I put in there, the fake eye, was foam that I rolled, painted. I actually took a really close-up shot of my eyeball and then like painted it to look like my eye, so it matched. Squeezed it in there, had a bunch of blood and gore and guts, and it was so fun. And the plastic, the glass that you see, the plastic, it's actually like a clear plastic case, like a CD case. You put it in a bag and you smash it safely, and you take the pieces. And I made like a slipper out of it. But you use the hot glue as a base. That way, when you put the prosthetic on your eye, it stops the prosthetic like glass plastic pieces from like slamming into your eye if you were to like hit it. The most important thing about SFX makeup, no matter what, is always safety first. So take those necessary precautions and then go from there. So that was that. That was the first time I ever made a prosthetic, and I realized at the time for Halloween, I was like, wow, I never like posted pictures of this. I wonder if this would do well, if people would like this. And so I did.
It's really cool. It sounds complicated. But
I feel like it sounds complicated. It's really not. I probably just over-explained it. But no, I've always wanted to make tutorials and stuff like that. So maybe one day I'll start and I can show you guys like how to make them and stuff like that. I've gotten to the point now with my prosthetics where I'm very proud of them. So I'm hoping that I get to do more.
Yeah. Cosplayer are you most proud of?
Right now, Maleficent, for sure, because that whole process was just nuts in general. Making the wings, making the copper wire to go down the back to make sure it was going to work, all of the moving parts. I have a feeling after I finish Lava Girl, that will become my new favorite or most proud of, because I never made a chest plate before, and also getting the LEDs to work and just all of that complications. Like, they're both, I'm proud of them both, but like in different ways, you know?
Yeah.
Like from an LED standpoint, but also just from like a size standpoint.
Yeah.
And like the horns, the whole headpiece, I've never made a headpiece before. And so Maleficent doing that was just like so stressful.
Oh, I'm sure.
I still can't believe it turned out the way it did.
Like I said, it looks incredible.
Thank you. Because I
really
had chosen. Thank you. I had chosen that version specifically, because I'm a bit of a smart ass, and I like to do things that other people don't do, and I liked challenging myself. And when I found out that specific version was like 90% CGI, it never existed, I was like, I can make that in real life. For some reason, with like all the confidence of like a master professional from a person who's never made wings before, I was like, I could do that. So yeah, that's why I chose that one, because I kind of wanted to also I would like to eventually prove a point to Hollywood that like, hey, sometimes doing practical things like is really cool and you can do it. Like, stop using CGI so much, please. I'm begging you. Stop CGIing your suits, Marvel.
Yeah.
Three things you like about conventions. Okay. The people, for sure. That's one of them. I love being able to like be surrounded by people who are like-minded, people who we just have the same things in common. Like, we're all nerds, and I love it when I get to see someone's cosplay, be like, oh, you did the thing, and they're like, oh, you did the thing, and then it's like, ah, it's like a great feeling. That's one. Two, I love getting to, this is gonna sound kind of, I don't know how to say this without it sounding egotistical. I like being able to go and like show off what I made and then it be well received, because I feel like a lot of times I get really in my head about what I'm making, and I'm kind of like, oh, this is really bad, and like there's a lot of flaws and no one's gonna like it and no one's even gonna know who I am, and like I go and then I have a bunch of people like swarm me for pictures and they're like, this is so cool, and I'm like, really? Like it's just one of those good feelings. It's just like a reassurance. It's just a reassurance thing of like, oh, like I am doing good, okay, kind of vibe.
Yeah, I get that.
And I love that like supportive thing from people. It's really sweet, because you don't always get that online.
True.
And then a third thing, I love getting to see just all of the different like aspects and just array of like booths and tables and what's there, and like art, but also artists and writers and, you know, just all types of things people make. There was someone once at I don't remember if it was GalaxyCon or AwesomeCon or Tidewater now, but somebody had this booth where they took wood and like lights and they made like all these steampunky type of like nerdy creations, like lamps, like they lit up, but they were like nerdy. I don't even know what to call them, but they were like so cool, and I just like stood there for 20 minutes entranced by these lights. I was like, how did you do this? Like, it's stuff like that. Like, I think that's just so cool to me. Stuff that like I totally could not do, but like full respect.
Yeah, it's amazing the type of things you like see at a con. Like,
It's such a wide range of stuff. It's really cool.
yeah, I just like it that we get to like see all our friends and hang out and just
Yeah. Yeah, the people.
mm.
Yeah.
And also meeting new people too.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of just like lumped everything into the people category because I was like, I feel like I can't say this same thing for three things, but yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I think now we're getting into the other questions that I added last minute, but
Yeah, that's fine. Sure,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll try to answer them and not ramble.
Yeah.
Oh God, what character do you think you'd be best friends with? From what? Just in
Like
general?
anything.
I feel like Supergirl and I would be like really good friends. I feel like we have like a really similar like banter and outlook and just type of mindset. I think I also am saying this because I just want to be Supergirl, but like that's a different. I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like that would be really fun. Like DC, I think her and I would be best friends. It was Marvel. I feel like Kate and I would be really good friends. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see being good friends with like the Spidey Squad, like Peter and MJ and Ned.
Yeah.
I could see that one.
The Spider Friends are always fun.
For sure, right? Extraneous things. I'm trying to think of like other fandoms that aren't like really dark and sad. I don't know. What other give me how about that? Gabby, give me a fandom and I'll tell you. Give me something. Movie or a show or
Star Wars.
Oh God. Well, it depends on the era that I'm in, but man, if it's from the sequels, I feel like I'd be best friends with Poe. I feel like if we were both like, you know, pilots, it would just be the funniest banter on set on the little intercom thing. That would be so funny. I'm thinking about that now, and I can't unsee that now. It'd be really funny. I would love that. If we're talking prequels, I relate a lot to Padme, and I love her, like getting to see her more as a senator in like Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And just being able to see more of her personality in that. And because of that, I feel like I would get along with her really well. I also would be trying to steal her husband, but that's a different argument to make. Anakin, give me one chance.
For Anakin.
Yeah, Anakin, give me one chance, please. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I think that's. Yeah. I'm trying to think like original trilogy. Probably Han Solo. Let's be honest. We would have like again, it's the Poe effect. We would have like the funniest banter. I'm thinking of like characters that I would have like really good banter with, or that I could like spill hella tea with in the evening. Like Padme and I would spill so much tea. It would be great. Like I could fully see it. Yeah, for sure. Girl, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Spite? Girl. Oof. I'm joking, but that might actually be the answer. What gets me and keeps me motivated? I think part of it honestly really is spite. I've had a lot of people tell me that I can't do something, or a lot of people belittle me and question me because of my age and because they think that I'm, not good enough, or I'm too young to be at the level that I'm at, or like doing the things that I'm doing. I've had a lot of just negative people who are very jealous, who want to see me fail. And so out of pure just bitter spite, I'm like, well, I have to now. Like, I'm here. So like from that standpoint, yeah, of course. But I think this is kind of sad, but it's true. Behind the scenes, I deal with a lot, like I said before, I don't talk about, but one of which is I've always been very close to my grandparents. And so around, I want to say like the start of COVID, could be a little bit before actually, but my Nana was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia. And shortly after, she went to the nursing home. And, you know, my granddad had a lot of things happen that I won't like disclose, but it was just kind of quickly like downhill for a lot of those types of things.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like at the age that I'm at, and I've dealt with death and loss before, but you know, stuff like watching this slowly go downhill has been really hard for me. And I think like watching, you know, because when you're little and you look at your grandparents, you know, you think that they're like invincible, right? You're like, wow, like
Yeah.
you're like, you're never gonna leave, you're always gonna be there. And you know, I was always so close to my Nana, because it was like she would come over, and then like literally when she was leaving, I'd be like, I'll see you tomorrow, and she'd be like, I'm not coming over tomorrow, and then something would happen and she would come over the next day. So for me, I always saw her and I always was very close to them. So to have to watch that go away and to have to like lose that so slowly, but like still desperately holding on to it as much as I can, to have to deal with that kind of emotion for me really like woke me up in a way. Also because I think at that time it was like a lot of things were going at the same time, so it was all of that, but also in this time frame was like COVID. And so I don't know how familiar you are with this, but Unis Honest was a thing. And Unis Honest, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain, was Markiplier, who is somebody that I've watched on YouTube for like my whole life, and then Ethan, which is Crank Gameplays. They decided to come together, they're best friends, and they made this channel called Unis Honest, where they spend the whole year, every day uploading, doing crazy stuff, and at the end, they deleted it. And the whole point was that, you know, this whole thing can go away, it's ephemeral, nothing is permanent. It teaches you to like kind of deal with that. And so for me, like that whole like thing, and then also dealing with like this on the side, kind of made me realize that like we're all running out of time, and I don't want to waste my time that I have. And so something that kind of, whenever I'm in that like down phase of like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, I kind of just think about it like, you know, I don't know how much time I have, and I don't want to waste it, and I don't want to disappoint anyone either. So I think for me, those are like really big motivators. So kind of sad, but it's very true. So yeah.
I'm sorry to hear about your Nana.
Oh, thank you. She is a badass. So she is killing it right now. She's just doing it.
Well, that's something you got from her. So
oh, thank you. Don't say that, I'll cry. Stop it! How dare you? You tricked me. You got me to talk about my Nana. How dare you? It's my 1 weak spot. It's like my villain origin story. It's the one thing.
A couple more questions and
yeah. Oh god. Oh my god. Wow. Yes, I have a few. Taylor Swift, please, just 5 minutes. So I have to feel like I have to talk about this now, because this is something that I was just joking about earlier. So Spree and I, she's one of my good friends, we both are going to New York Comic Con this year. And we, like, out of pure, just, like, this was, like, a panic thought at 3 a.m. that I had for no reason. But I had texted her, and I was like, hey, what are we gonna do if like Joseph Quinn or Jamie Bauer announces that they're gonna be at New York? Like, how are we gonna deal with this? And she was like, what? She's like, what are you talking about? How are we gonna deal with this? And I was like, well, I can't do this. How are we gonna deal with this? And so we made this whole like fail-safe plan in our heads. It's a complete hypothetical. They aren't announced. They're probably not gonna be announced. But we were just like up with like planning this out of like, okay, if they announce them individually, we will split the price, we will split the cost, we will both go together, we'll get pictures together. If they do a duo, we'll split the price, we'll get the photo op together. We were like planning out like what we were gonna wear and like what we were gonna say and like how we were gonna stand and pose, and like it was so funny. And like, a part of me now like really hopes that they don't go to New York Comic Con, because I don't think I would behave at all. But then the other part of me, of course, is like, please, just like 5 minutes in a room alone with Jamie, please. No, I'm joking, but that was probably one of the funniest things that happened recently that had to do with that. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Current obsessions, we'll go with that.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay, any new cosplays or other projects you're working on that you'd like to share? Okay, yeah.
Thought I would save this one for the end. So.
Yeah, it's a good little wrapping up point. Trying to think of like what I can say.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm not
no.
forcing you to, but
I've talked about this before, so it's not a big surprise. But for New York, I'm going Friday and Saturday. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I have actual tickets for Friday and Saturday because I have plans to shoot with a bunch of people on like the other days. So I am working on the big red invasion dress for Queen Amidala. That's I don't want to talk about it. A pattern doesn't exist, fun fact.
Oh no.
So like make one. And then I'm also working on the what if armor for Gamora. Don't talk about that one either. That one's also a nightmare. Those are I'm hoping to do and have done for New York. The other big thing that I was working on was Lava Girl, because I've never seen someone do it. Always wanted to do it. Loved it my whole life since I was a kid. This is a cosplay I'm doing to heal my inner child. So that I was hoping to have done before for FredCon, but it just didn't work out. So I'm trying to have it done for Fairfax when I guest this time. Those are the big ones. And I have a couple of other little hidden boys in my closet that I'm going to be shooting that I don't want to spoil. Some Star Wars stuff is coming finally, I promise.
Nice.
And I'm trying to think. No, I have other stuff. I have some collabs in the works with some friends. And like I said, Michelle is coming down end of September, and we have like a ungodly amount of things planned to do. Scream for sure. I think we're trying to do 11 in Max, but I don't know if that'll work in time. But yeah, I'm hoping that I have a couple friends actually. After I posted my Max stuff, I had quite a few people in my DMs wanting to collab. A few friends of which are building Vecna, and they of course want me to be their Max. So that when that's finished will be really cool. I have a few Eddies that I'm shooting with soon. So there's a lot of Stranger Things stuff that I'm gonna be doing with that soon. And then yeah. Anything the Hot Topic ends up recruiting me for, I'll end up doing, which is part of why I look like this right now, because I had to shoot Beetlejuice this morning, and then I had to shoot Avril Lavigne stuff, and then I had to do the interview, and I was like, I guess I'm just gonna be Avril Lavigne. So
You're fine.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to finish up with the cosplay thing. Those are my little secrets that I can share right now.
Well, I'm excited to see all of those. I'm sure they're going to be amazing.
Thank you. I hope. I hope I can pull it off.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the questions I got. So.
Okay. Thank you for listening to me ramble for an hour.
It's my pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, so all of you guys, just go check out Astravoidcosplay on Instagram, Twitter, all the socials. And they're in the description box below. So go do the things.
Go do the things.
But yeah, hopefully if assuming that I go to New York Comic Con this year, which I'm really hoping to, I hopefully get to meet you in person. So
yeah, I hope so. Oh my gosh, you have to let me know if you go and like when we're there, stuff, so we can meet up. But yeah, for sure. But this was a lot
it would
of
be
fun.
Saturday and Sunday. So
okay, yeah. But this was so much fun, and thank you. And I hope that we get to do like a reunion episode at some point.
Yeah, I would love that. And like I do like other streams too, like on my channel. So like I had thought about doing like an X-Men talk episode at some point. So you're more than welcome to join me for that.
I'd love to.
If you want or whatever.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Artistic.
Thank you.
But I appreciate everyone being here. This was a lot of fun. And Astra, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I will see everybody next time with another cosplay guest. And Astra, I will talk to you again in a minute after we end. But everyone, I hope everyone has a good night, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.